Hello students, let me welcome all of you on behalf of the Unique Academy. Today I am going to share with all of you MPSC English Medium GS reference list, that is the book list. So what we have done here is to follow the sequence from GS1 to GS4, and we have classified each GS paper into the main subjects. So you could see here history, okay. Itihas ahe. For history, you are supposed to start with the NCERTs, and Unique Academy has come up with a joint venture with Wiley Publication. You can fully rely on that NCERT on Indian history. The second one, which is a reference book, and we have mentioned 3 reference books. So one is by Grover and Grover, which is on modern Indian history. The second, which is a popular one and quite analytical, by Bipan Chandra, and the title is India's Struggle for Independence, or Modern Indian History, which is a precise one by the Spectrum Publication. And then for India after independence, that is post-independent India, you can selectively rely on Bipan Chandra's book, reference book. And similarly, for world history, you can selectively refer to Jain and Mathur. Now let us take it forward. Then comes obviously geography. As far as geography is concerned, again, you are supposed to start with the NCERT, jointly published by Unique Academy as well as the Wiley Publication. So that is the first one. The second, which is a very important one, written by G.C. Leong, Physical Geography. And this is a reference book, Geography of India by Majid Hussain. Okay. Then the third subject from GS1, Indian Society. To begin with, you can rely on the NCERT books, 11th and 12th. Okay. Now GS2 comprises of 2 subjects. So one is the Indian Constitution and Governance, and the other is the India and World or India's Foreign Policy. Now as far as Indian Constitution and Governance is concerned, so we have 4 reference books. So the first one is obviously the NCERT, which is a primary one, again jointly published by Unique Academy and Wiley Publication. Then this is the reference book, which is quite very well known by Lakshmikant, titled as Indian Polity. Then this is a very important book, though written for political science as an optional, but you are supposed to refer to volume 2, which is on Indian government and politics. This book, published by Unique Academy on the title Indian Government and Politics, comprises of around 300 model answers of the expected question. So for model answers on Indian polity, you can definitely refer to this volume 2. And then for the governance, because governance happens to be one of the important element of GS2. So for again a book written by M. Lakshmikant. This is the second subject from GS2, that is India and World. And I have just mentioned one book by Sumit Ganguly. This is an overview of India's foreign policy, and you should not forget about this series, Oxford India series. Now the GS3, in which we have 2 major subjects along with certain topics. So the first is Indian economy. For Indian economy, again you have to start with the Indian Economy NCERT, jointly published by Unique Academy and the Wiley Publication. This is a reference book written by Nitin Singhania, McGraw-Hill Publication, titled as Indian Economy. So this is for Indian economy. Now taking it forward for general science, which is also known as science and technology. Again, the NCERT on general science, jointly published by Unique Academy and Wiley Publication. And then this is a reference book titled as Science and Technology, published by McGraw-Hill Publication. Okay. Then in GS3, we have 2 important sections. So one is the environment and ecology, for which you are supposed to rely on NCERT, again the jointly published. And then you are supposed to selectively refer to Down to Earth Monthly, which comprises current and contemporary events pertaining environment and ecology, case studies, data, analytical part, and you should rely on this, which is a monthly. And then for internal security, again you have a very important book published by the McGraw-Hill Publication, titled as Internal Security. So thus economy, science and technology, and then environment, ecology and internal security. Now taking it forward, remains the last paper of GS, that is the GS4, that is the ethics, for which you have to refer to Ethics and Integrity published by the Lexicon publication. And then Unique Academy has come up with a book comprising of the PYQs, that is the model answers of the previous year question papers, written by Vikrant Bhosle, Aparna Dikshit and Shushruta Vish. Okay, Bhosle sir happens to be the faculty for ethics today. As far as the current and contemporary events are concerned, I am sure you must be really worried about this aspect of GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. Now what you can do is, you can refer to monthly roundup published by Unique Academy, comprising of current contemporary events prepared for mains examination and which is informally published in the form of the monthly roundup. And then on your own, you can make it a point to follow one newspaper, maybe either the Indian Express or preferably the Hindu. Last but not the least, we as an institution have published the Unique Academy class notes comprising of all GS papers. Okay, so students, this is the reference list to be used for GS primarily from GS1 to GS4. Thank you.